we are on the road to the overstuffed pig that is WrestleMania. Yeah, that's the best word to describe this entire card. It's really, really stuffed, and not in the good sense. People would probably be wondering, why do they overstuff WrestleMania every year? Well, here's the thing. Apparently, ever since the network happened, you've noticed it. It's been happening since WrestleMania 30. It was now a tradition to stuff the card with almost every single talent wrestler. The reason for that is because of the network. Because the pay-per-view royalty fees would not be coming in as much, they had to do the network royalty fee system. And, yeah, that required everyone to be on the card. So, that's why the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal exists. That's why you see all these women Battle Royale matches. So, yeah. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Don't care. There's really nothing to care. Like, it was said a while back that it might not actually happen, which would have been surprising. And at the same time, they said they might make it more serious and actually make it a big deal. But after several years of how it was used, it never was going to work. They only were going to make this try to work for this WrestleMania is because of the Andre the Giant HBO documentary. Yeah, that's really putting pride in the product. Publicity! So, yeah, the talent involved, who cares? Like, who really cares? Not a lot of people care about any of the talent involved. Like, the only ones who got are the Revival, who really should not be on that match. Baron Corbin, Mojo Rawley, Ty Dillinger. Mojo Rawley won last year. Look how that went. Matt Hardy, he should be teaming with Bray Wyatt to fight the Bar, but that's not going to happen. Dolph Ziggler, who was sprouting just a month ago, who wanted to be in a singles match at WrestleMania because he's never been in a one-on-one match. And originally it was supposed to be Ziggler versus Shane, and Sami and Kevin were supposed to be relegated to the Battle Royale. Kind of shows where this is going. You got Fandango and Tyler Breeze, who cares? Goldust, who cares? Heath Slater and Rhino, who cares? Zack Ryder, who cares? Primo, who cares? Yeah. There's nothing really to be invested in. Just certain people that should not be on the card, and yet some are, and some that no one cares about. And I'm pretty sure they get added most of the cruiserweights involved that are contractually obligated. So, yeah, that happened. And now we get to what was very controversial, the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royale. Originally, it was called the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royale. Okay, when I had heard this, I was like, okay, whatever. But then I heard the stories, and then I read the reports, and then I read all this stuff, why people were talking about this. Okay, so Fabulous Moolah apparently pimped out her trainees who wanted to be up-and-coming female wrestlers in WWF back then, and pimped them out. Yeah, it gets uncomfortable after that. Like, there are a lot of conflicting stories, but with all the reasonable doubt and the explanation that, yeah, maybe this is true, why would WWE honor her? Oh, wait, she didn't do anything that's mainstream attention controversy. At least until it happened, and then they had no choice. Because, yeah, here's the thing. They have had how many wrestlers who have been very controversial and have done horrible things? Like, the first example is Scott Hall. Like, a year before he even got into wrestling, he had shot somebody and inadvertently killed them in self-defense. Granted, it was self-defense and it was in a drunken incident. But if this happened today, WWE would never have hired him. Okay, let's see. I also listed some other things out. Mike Tyson, well, we know what he apparently did back in the old day, back when he was younger. He gets to show up on any TV programming. Let's see. We have also womanizers, pimps, and all that. Go ahead and do these horrible things and yet they're talked about a lot on TV and on commentary and is honored in some way, and some are in the Hall of Fame. But because they weren't, quote, mainstream attention, like that other guy who was known as the Rabid Wolverine. Yeah, if we're going by this logic, then you should not have condoned all those other acts. But we don't live in the land of logic. We live in the land of idiocy. And guess what WWE did in response to all this? Initially, they inadvertently acknowledged that, yeah, you might be true on that by disabling comment sections on their YouTube video regarding the announcement. And a lot of people were pissed off at that. Like, really? So, yeah. Like, I know people wanted to say that why can't China be on there? Well, after they changed the name, yeah, here's the thing. I could say whether or not, why wasn't it called the Mae Young Memorial Battle Royale? Well, they had the Mae Young Classic, so that's going to be off the table. They had all these other things going on. Yeah, they could have changed the name probably, but they really couldn't because there was only a few weeks left before WrestleMania, so they would have to commission a completely different trophy, which would have spent more money, so... Yeah, they couldn't name it after another female performer. Oh yeah, in China, she did pornography with X-Pac in that horrible, and what I heard from the stories and why they won't induct her into the Hall of Fame. But we'll talk about her on TV. That's perfectly alright because she's dead, so therefore she has nothing good to complain about in their eyes. Yeah, you're probably going to know where I'm going with this video. I'm going to be very, very pissed off as the night goes. So, yeah. I'm trying to get through the ones that are the least likely to piss me off, but it's going to happen. Especially a match that isn't going to happen, apparently, but that's going to be debated. So... Yeah, and then this whole women's battle royale, the trophy. I saw the trophy. Everyone on the internet saw the trophy, and everyone said the same thing. And I was really confused. Why does that look like a woman's reproductive organs? And I was like, really? That's... Oh. And then someone in my Twitter timeline showed a picture of it, and I was like, looking at that, and then looking at the, picture of the trophy, and I was like, oh my god, WWE, have you no decency? Like, really? You're really going there? You're instead of... Okay, so you had time to make this trophy, to make a standard trophy that just happens to look like that, but you couldn't make a model of China or any other woman wrestler. Or, Alunda Blaze, Medusa, as she was also known as. You could do that. Okay. Why? Oh, we could give a reason, but that would be illegal. That would imply logic. Okay. And then and then this whole build up to it regressed even more into pointlessness when Bayley and Sasha Banks were added. Now, why is that a problem? Even though Becky Lynch is on there and most of the rest of the women are on there. Well, Bayley and Sasha Banks weren't originally supposed to be on this card. Specifically the Battle Royale. They were supposed to have their own match. And it was said it would have been a historical moment for them because it would have been a singles match without a stipulation added. Now, the question should be, why aren't they having a match at the same in this pay-per-view? Is it because there's an already bloated card and would not give them enough time to deliver a high-quality match? Maybe, but that would make too much sense. You see, the reason why they won't do it is because Vince hates them right now. They have heat. You want to know what they did? They spoke out about the creative direction of their characters and how the storyline's going. Because they dare have an opinion, they're going to be smited for it. Yeah, that sabotage theory isn't looking so stupid, isn't it? So, yeah, that happened. So, Everyone's upset about that, and I'm not surprised. Really, really not surprised. It's amazing if it was not surprising for people. Um, you're really punishing them. You're really punishing them because they dare go ahead and speak up. Remember when they say that the WWE wrestlers have a voice? Yeah, that's illegal. That's a huge lie. Now we get Cedric Alexander versus Ali for the vacated Cruiserweight Championship. Okay, I know I'm going to sound horrible here for a second, but Enzo getting fired was probably the best thing that ever happened for the 205 Live division. Because Enzo was accused of certain things, and the stories have come out that it turns out she might be actually insane and might have mental issues. So, yeah, that she inadvertently ruined a guy's life. Like I said this, if she has proof, then F Enzo. Then tell Enzo to fuck off. But if she is really crazy, and if she's crazy, I'll say go get help. Or if she's lying through her teeth, congratulations. You just further go ahead and ruin the bravery of women who do stand up against those kind of issues that some go through. Actually, quite a lot. But yeah, Enzo was suspended and then he was fired, canceling the Cruiserweight match they were going to do. So, following this, why was I saying it's the best thing that happened to the 205 division? Well, because this was a wake-up call for Vince. He invested heavily in Enzo despite not liking him. And now his investment was gone. Everything he worked for to build this thing up, to center the Cruiserweights, 205 Live around Enzo is now gone. And thus, that left only one thing left to do: admit defeat. He handed the reins of 205 Live to Triple H. And within 1 week, they already started changing everything about the format. They said, okay, screw all these horrible storylines. We need to get rid of them. We're going to bring in some talent from NXT. We're going to bring in some of the UK wrestlers in who are cruiserweight size. We're going to make a tournament for the cruiserweight title. We even got a general manager. We're getting that guy, Rockstar Spud, who we're changing his name, but that's beside the point. We're going to actually give the cruiserweights the right to actually wrestle. We're going to give the cruiserweights the right to fight. And yep, that's what happened. We got guys like Tyler Bates showing up, Roderick Strong, Mark Andrews. Let's see, Buddy Murphy shows up. Gentleman Jack Gallagher was forced to lose the clothing he wore in the ring. Yeah, everyone was now put on the same level. And now it's come down to Cedric Alexander and Ali. And yeah, they don't really have much of a storyline going on, but yeah, so long as they get to showcase their abilities, I'm all for that. I have not watched any of the matches because I'm usually going to bed around this time and I have no time to watch SmackDown Live after just watching the Mixed Match Challenge. So, and even then I stopped watching that for a variety of reasons. So, yeah, that's the end. That's the rebirth of the Cruiserweight division, of what Triple H wanted. Huzzah! Now we need to get more power for him. Hey, could you fire your buddy Road Dogg? I know you're friends, but he's a terrible writer. Could you give Ryan Ward back his job as SmackDown writer? Please? Or bring Paul Heyman on board, because his managerial duties are done afterwards, as far as we know. So, yeah. Now we get to the actual main card of the show. The Miz versus Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. Yeah, it's just Miz doing all the work. Like, yeah, Seth Rollins and Finn Balor can do the wrestling thing, but Miz is really the only thing carrying this whole storyline. Like, why is Finn Balor smiling all the time? That's a thing people were having, and I was like, yeah, I kind of agree. Why is he constantly smiling? It's not really good. Why can't we get NXT Finn Balor? Oh, wait, that's right, he's NXT. Therefore, he's scum. Yeah, and the 205 Live division, now becoming the Cruiserweights again. Yeah, they stopped appearing on Raw. So they're no longer on Raw for most of the time. Which means that Vince made the condition, do not showcase them on my show because they'll see that they're better than my stuff. Kind of shows where things are going with Vince and Triple H. So, Miz, Finn Balor, and Seth Rollins fight for the Intercontinental title. And really, originally it was supposed to be Braun Strowman versus The Miz, and then they scrapped that in favor of Braun Strowman to do something else. But, yeah. The Miz goes ahead and is carrying this whole thing with his mic skills. And all I keep thinking is, please retain. Please retain. Please retain. Because as much as I like Seth Rollins, I like Finn Balor, but they're not The Miz. I'm like, after this, what is The Miz going to do? Go back to fighting the Intercontinental title? Like, they're clearly not committed to giving him a run with the WWE or the Universal title. Really, the IC title is the only thing left for him. And besides, he has a record to break, but that's a different matter. Yeah, there's really nothing left. They're not going to let Miz go up on the card. They could have done that earlier, but they chose not to. But, yeah, it's kind of funny. Everyone hated The Miz being in the main event at WrestleMania 27. Now fans want him in the main event this time because he's actually improved. Is it known as winning the fans over? He won the new fans over! And now Miz is a father, so that means he's most likely going to retain. But Vince tends to be a jackass about a lot of things, so I wouldn't be surprised if he makes sure Miz loses even more just to make the child sad. Because Vince likes to be disrespectful a lot. Now we got Randy Orton versus Bobby Roode versus Jinder Mahal versus Rusev Day for the United States Championship. No one cared about the first three I just mentioned. Rusev is the only thing that matters here. All due respect to Orton, but he has not been putting in as much effort as I had hoped he would be nowadays. He doesn't seem to actually be having fun. Bobby Roode is using a style that won't work in main rosterville. Jinder Mahal is Jinder Mahal. Rusev is the only guy fans want to cheer for right now. They're chanting Rusev Day. In fact, here's the thing. They were not going to put him on the card. They were going to just take him to the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. The only reason he's on this card is because, crap, the merchandise sales, they're big. We got to put him on there somewhere. Yeah, I mean, like, granted, okay, let me get back to the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I know I'm going to do this. Instead of just making it a jobber's waste of time or a lower mid-card guy, how about you do something unique with the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal? In fact, for the Women's Battle Royal as well. Why not let them have a prize? Not the trophy, an actual prize that could give way to interesting storylines. Yes, I know what I just said, and I know that's forbidden in Vince's world, but let's really go forward with this if we were really thinking with this. Why not have this? The wrestler wins not only the trophy, but has a right to choose what he or she wants. They could go ahead and be put in early as a person to fight for the WWE title or the Universal title or any other title. They get to select any championship that is not the gender specific or the tag team titles. Let's see. They could also say, hey, I want to be put in the Money in the Bank ladder match. I want to be put in on that Money in the Bank ladder match in the next few months. I want to be added to it. Provided I can make it, I want to be added to it. Or they can go ahead and insert themselves in a main event matchup or for a title match. Why not do that? Because that would be too interesting. But back to the Fatal 4-Way that no one gives a shit about. Yeah, remember that top 10 list they were going to do that actually sounded innovative? Yeah, they canceled that. It's only been used once and they canceled it. It was just there for 3 people to fight, but then Rusev got involved, and now it's further pointless. Just let Rusev win. He's clearly the only guy people want to see on TV. In fact, just give him a run with the title even. I would love to see Rusev versus Nakamura or AJ Styles. They've been doing well together in the ring together. Okay, let's do it. Now we get Charlotte Flair versus Asuka. Asuka won the Women's Royal Rumble match. Huzzah! Hurrah! And unfortunately for everybody, she kept what she was going to do in the coming months. Haroof. And yeah, this might be maybe cynical here. Yeah, they kept hinting that it might be Alexa Bliss. It's not. I'll get to Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax later. Like I said, I want to keep myself from being really pissed off. Really, really pissed off. Asuka announced her challenge to Charlotte at Fastlane, setting up the match. No long-winded promos, no nothing. She just needed to point at the sign, stare at her opponent, and there, you got a story. Sure enough, this is the only one that had some form of competence. But yeah, Asuka's gonna win. Why do I say that? Well, for one, okay, actually several factors. One, they already have someone to beat Asuka. It's Ronda Rousey. I'll get to her later. But yeah, the only reason Asuka's gonna keep the streak is because they want to sacrifice her to Ronda. It's not like that's gonna indicate they're gonna treat her like Brock Lesnar or anything. Oh. Yeah, anyways, the second reason is because you could say Carmella's going to cash in. Yeah, she's going to cash in. That's what a report came out said. She's going to fail. She's going to fail the Money in the Bank cash in. That's what the reports were saying. She's going to try and she's going to accept. She's going to put in the Money in the Bank contract. She's going to pull a Baron Corbin and fail, rendering this whole thing pointless. But I'm not going to be extremely pissed off about it. Why am I not going to be pissed off about it? Well, for 2 reasons. One, it was reported that Carmella's actually okay. She said that apparently she was under the mentality that if she's going to fail, can she at least do it on the grandest stage of them all? Okay, fine. Like, it would be interesting if Carmella won because her character could get tons of nuclear heat from fans. That would be something. Like, she got heat when she won the Money in the Bank ladder match because of James Ellsworth, and that pissed everybody off. So, yeah, that would be interesting, but WWE needs Asuka for Ronda Rousey. And, yeah, Charlotte, yeah, I'm just glad it's not James Ellsworth. Oh god, Vince really thought that was going to be a good idea. Transgendered storyline towards someone that we've completely condemned for looking different from us. Yeah, that's not going to piss everybody. That's not going to piss anyone off. And look incredibly mean-spirited. No, that's clearly going to be a good idea, Vince. Yeah, I'm glad James Ellsworth left. So now we get to Cesaro and Sheamus versus Braun! And I don't know. Braun Strowman buries the tag team division of Raw. That was great. And he has not had an announced partner. Whoop-de-doo. Now, a report's been coming out about who could be his partner. There are 3 candidates, apparently. One, it might be Bobby Lashley, because he's re-signed with WWE, apparently. Huzzah! The other is Samoa Joe. Okay, it could be awesome. The third candidate is, hello, I am Elias. Who wants to walk with Elias? So, yeah, we got those 3 candidates. I would be alright with any one of them, but I get the feeling Elias is going to do Rock concert versus Walk with Elias Battle of the Bands match. That would be awesome. Just as long as Elias gets the win here in the musical duel. But yeah, Braun Strowman is and Cesaro and Sheamus are really now embarrassed, and now they gave way to tons of slash fan fictions. When Cesaro says to Sheamus, "As a tag team, we compete together, we eat together, we cook together, we sleep together," and everyone was like, "Oh dear God, you just said that. Oh God, oh." Yeah, and even Strowman was like, "Oh God, you're gonna be on fanfiction.net by the end of the night." Scratch that, you're going to be on fanfiction.net at the end of the night. In fact, you're probably already on there. So yeah, that they gave way to very fanfiction-like projects, most likely. But really, Braun Strowman's the one delivering all the humor. Like, Cesaro, you would expect it, but Braun Strowman... yeah. Like, Braun Strowman looked like he was going to reveal his partner, when in reality, it was just him wearing a white jacket, and a white sleeveless collar, and glasses. My name's Brains! Braun and Brains. They really did that. It actually looks like Strowman is having fun. That he's not just this big monster. He could actually have fun in a little while. In fact, that led to some hot, funny moments between him and Alexa Bliss on the Mixed Match Challenge, and I'll get to that. But, yeah. So, yeah, we don't know who his tag team partner is. It's probably the three candidates I mentioned, Samoa Joe, Elias, or Bobby Lashley. Honestly, would like Elias or Samoa Joe, but Bobby Lashley would be kind of cool. There's also rumors that it might be Bray Wyatt, but he's working stuff with Woken Matt Hardy regarding the Woken Wyatt gimmick in the coming weeks, probably. Probably right after WrestleMania. And now we have what should be a tables, ladders, and chairs match. It's now just been reduced to a triple threat tag team match. Probably will change in the middle of the night, hopefully. It will be the Usos finally getting their WrestleMania match. For God's sake, what the hell? It took them that long? It took WWE that long to put the Usos on the card. Versus the New Day versus Harper and Rowan, the Bludgeon Brothers! Okay, this started off as really intense. Then they fucked it all up at the end of it. Because we had some partnership between the New Day and the Usos. That was interesting. And Big E actually acting serious and cutting a good promo that isn't cartoony. Oh god, Big E actually was supposed to be a main event star, wasn't he? So, yeah. And the Bludgeon Brothers, Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, because I will always see them as Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, they just use their mallets and go to work. And on the final SmackDown, they wanted to fuck it all up. They put what could have been a 5-on-2 beatdown into a plug for the network. Fuck you! Yeah, when I saw the Bludgeon Brothers just approach the New Day and the Usos, and the New Day and the Usos not reacting in the way you probably would expect, I just said, shouldn't, with how this storyline's been, why isn't the Usos and the New Day just ganging up on the two? It's 5-on-2. They're all in physical good shape. Beat the crap out of each other, please. No? Okay. I just hope the Bludgeon Brothers win. Harper and Rowan are in serious need of winning this. They were denied the tag team titles as the Wyatt family, except in NXT. I'll be damned if they don't win on SmackDown. And now we get to some uncomfortable thing. Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. The culmination of months upon months of story. Only for it to be ruined when Daniel Bryan was cleared. You see, here's the thing. I'm not saying Brian getting cleared was the most tragic thing that happened. It's not. It's actually pretty good for Brian. It's my concern. I don't want to see Brian end up like Chris Benoit. I don't want to see that. I don't want to go ahead, wake up one morning, get depressed, hearing that Brian's dead because of what happened, because of concussion-based reasons. And WWE brought him back because apparently he was cleared, and he found doctors that would approve of him to convince the WWE doctor. But part of me gets the feeling the other reason had to do with Vince did not want Brian to leave. If Brian left, he would have went ahead, went somewhere else, and the company there would have gotten a lot of money since people paid to see Brian. And no one, and a lot of ring promotions were concerned about Brian's health, and some wonder if it's the right thing to do to bring Brian back. So really that might prove that might have been a waste of time. But, yeah. Brian wrestling again and seeing what he was going, and seeing the first big bumps he was taking, it was like cringing, and it's like it's not something to get used to, especially given the circumstances that led to his end of his career. And then you have Owens and Zayn, who have been, since after Survivor Series, were wanting to just move on, but then Shane just wouldn't let go for really stuff that really doesn't make any sense, because yes, they screwed him at Survivor Series. That's one. That's actually a good reason. But then after that, there's nothing left. Like, yeah, they could have... Yeah, Kevin Owens attacked Vince McMahon. You do realize this is the same man that beat the crap out of your sister, that humiliated you on several occasions on TV, and from the promo and the, quote, storyline backstory they did when Shane McMahon came back, they hinted in storyline context that Vince abused them as children. And you're telling me Shane should be not all right with Kevin Owens beating the crap out of Vince, right? Like, everyone else was in complete rapture seeing that, because everyone wanted to see Vince get the ass kicking he deserved after all the discriminatory policies he's enacted towards NXT. In fact, remember that whole slap the fans' hands when they come to the ring as a way to get a good reaction and try to interact with the fan? Yeah, that's been banned as of today. Fuck! Yeah, I have no words for that. I'm just saying it's bullshit. The only one exempt from it is Ronda Rousey. I'll get to her later. And all throughout the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Shane McMahon, and Daniel Bryan storyline, I was hoping that it would lead to a massive turn for all parties. Bryan would team up with Owens and Zayn, they would turn face, Shane would turn heel, leading to the two having to fight Shane McMahon and a partner of his choosing. That never happened. Instead, when Bryan came back, they changed all the plans basically from what it looked like it was going for, because that would have been interesting, and plus Bryan's more important than storyline and character development. Like, Sami Zayn's been awesome as a heel, but it would have been actually interesting if they turned Owens face against Shane McMahon. That would have been really interesting, but they chose not to. So Bryan's back. He hopefully hasn't missed a step, but I really hope he's alright. And if anything happens to him, WWE's going to have to accept the consequences this time, because they barely survived when Benoit happened. And if something happens to Bryan on their watch, yeah, they could have at least went ahead, wiped their hands clean, saying, we tried to stop him, he wanted out. And Bryan admitted that he wasn't passionate about GM. I get that, but I was like, wait, so you doing the I don't give a damn attitude you were doing, that's you not being passionate? That's you being hilarious. But when you're passionate, you're really emotional. When you're not passionate, you are in this I don't give a damn state. Okay. Now let's get to what was considered to be a main event match. Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey versus The Game, Triple H, and Stephanie McMahon. Yeah, all this started because Kurt Angle lied. Yeah. They seem to forget that Kurt Angle lied, how Triple H and Stephanie wanted to manipulate Ronda. He admitted he lied. They never addressed that again. They just act like you're not supposed to remember that. So, already the storyline's become bullshit. Wish The Rock was allowed by Hollywood to let him wrestle, because at least there's context to the story, and there's still the personal vendetta they have towards each other between Triple H, Ronda, Stephanie, and The Rock after what happened at WrestleMania 31. But no, Hollywood won't allow it. So, yeah, Ronda Rousey is still in the learning stages, trying to get used to it, and then they bring up her depression issue she was suffering when she lost, and as she contemplates certain things, and Stephanie mocked her for that on TV, and I was like, it's a family show. Yeah, right. And yeah, Ronda's gonna get a win. Ronda's gonna get the win for the team. I'd be surprised if she lost. But yeah. And really, I just wanted Triple H to fight Bray Wyatt. I really wanted that. In fact, here's what I kept thinking. Why not just do Braun Strowman and Ronda Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie? Braun clearly can work with Alexa. Let's try Ronda Rousey. Like, Braun and Triple H have a history. Kurt Angle has a history with Triple H. I get that, but that was for years now. But Braun has a history with him since only Survivor Series, and that's it. In fact, originally Jason Jordan was supposed to fight Seth Rollins. I was banking on Jason Jordan versus Kurt Angle. They weren't going to do that. But, yeah. And Stephanie McMahon could have fought Ronda Rousey herself, while Kurt Angle fought Jason Jordan, and Triple H could have fought Braun Strowman. Nope, we can't have that. That's too nice of a good idea. We gotta nix that. So, yeah. So, yeah, it's clearly obvious Ronda's going to win for her team. No one cares. I really just don't care. And this whole match is not just to give comeuppance to Stephanie that everyone's been longing for. That was wrecked after the first encounter afterwards. So there's no glorious moment for that retribution since they just used it. Now, you see, this whole match was just put to make Stephanie look popular, to get her more mainstream attention. No, just no. Okay, so now we get to the pissed off part of WrestleMania. Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax, or as I like to call it, body shaming. This whole storyline happened because Alexa Bliss publicly body shamed Nia. God. They could have just done something simple. Either A, they could have had Mickie James get involved because they need to justify why the hell Mickie is teaming up with Alexa, or they could have had a number one contendership match with Nia Jax wins, and Alexa Bliss is expecting her to lay down for her and take the fall, only for Nia Jax to stand up for herself. No, we gotta go to body shaming. Yeah, you want to know why this pissed me off? If you've seen my podcast with Alexander the Great, who's on Twitter, not the actual historical guy, that would be just ridiculous. But Alexa Bliss was told by Vince, was told by the idiots in power to go ahead and say, hey, Alexa, I want you as Nia's real-life best friend, not storyline, real life, I want you to body shame your best friend from real life. Oh, I know you had an eating disorder when you were younger and you fought to get rid of that problem, but yeah, can you body shame her? Yeah, that really pissed me off. Like, when you learned more about Alexa, how she went through all this in life, how she almost died when she was born, and how she went through an eating disorder, and Nia Jax probably went through some bullying because of her size, it just adds a layer of horrible uncomfortableness and downright bitterness that Vince has. Like, it just pissed me off. I've been insulted because of how I look, because I'm big, and I'm like, Vince found this okay. He found this okay. This was disgusting to me. And yeah, I know some people will say, well, you wouldn't have said that was the Attitude Era. I have said this. The Attitude Era was a great time for creativity. It wasn't perfect. The Rock did body shaming towards the Big Show when he yelled out, well, it's the Big Show, and whatnot. I would have found it uncomfortable then as I would now. But I was a kid back then. I did not know any of this bullcrap that was going on. But considering how the world operates now, I'm surprised they went with it. They do this angle where they had two best friends had to have Alexa Bliss, who had an eating disorder and is real life best friends with Nia Jax, body shame her on TV. That pissed me off. And Nia Jax has to be as equally pissed. Like, I know she probably approved of this because this had to have been uncomfortable. But yeah, think about it. The company is body shaming her because she doesn't look like Alexa Bliss. She doesn't look like a Mickey James. She's not sexy in their eyes. She's not that girl with a voluptuous body and yada yada yada. And I was like, oh my god, Vince, just shut up. Just stop using people to be your voice. It's disgusting me. And then we get to AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura. There is no build-up for this. Yes, they could have went ahead and had the balls to use New Japan Pro Wrestling. They have acknowledged it, but they won't show the history. But that's clearly asking too much. They just want to bank on the match. If there is no story context to it, we don't care. This is what I said. Someone on Bleacher Report a few years back said this. People would rather watch a decent match with an awesome story than a great match with no story. But no, that's not on WWE's list of priorities. Their priority is to get Roman Reigns. You see, they gotta get Roman Reigns on board with this. They gotta get Roman Reigns in the main event. And that's what it is. Roman Reigns is going to be in the main event. A report came out today. Yeah, Roman Reigns versus Lesnar is going to be the main event. I'm hoping AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, if fan demand is strong, that they close the show. But that's clearly going to ask too much. And now this goes to Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. There is nothing left after this. The Lexman pointed out as best, the day Roman Reigns defeats Lesnar is the end. There is nothing left after this. He has not won the Universal title, but you can't say he's not won the WWE title. He's won every title, with the exception of the Cruiserweight and Women's belts, but he's won the tag team titles. He's a Grand Slam champion. There's nothing left. He's done. There's nothing left. And the storyline could have been so great. They've acknowledged the part-time status of Lesnar, his unmotivation, his care to not work the level of all the guys who do it 365 days a year. And then they screwed it all up. Like, how did you screw that up? Everyone's been expressing their frustration that Lesnar doesn't care, that Lesnar is lazy, that he doesn't want to put in the effort like all the other guys unless it's someone I approve of. Because Lesnar doesn't want to work with Strowman because he doesn't like Strowman. He'll work with Styles. Oh, I'll work with Styles. I'll give him my A game, but I'll still only do it under 16 minutes. I won't do a 20-minute match. That's asking too much of me unless you pay me an extra $20 million. I don't care for this match. And I want to. I know it's going to be a brutal fest, a bloodbath. But I have no care because I don't want Roman to win. But I don't want Lesnar to win. Because if Lesnar stays, the Universal title is nothing. If Roman gets it, he has nothing left. He can leave. He can retire. He's done everything. He can go somewhere else. He can go to Japan. He can go to Ring of Honor. He would have better opportunities of being treated what he should be treated like. He should be treated as someone who wants to climb to the top, who should be a heel. But Vince never wanted to do that. They destroyed. And this is Vince's magnum opus of NXT hatred to me. Of how over-pushing a guy is also bad. Everyone clamored for NXT guy to get pushed. They pushed the guy, and now fans hate this guy because he's not what they wanted. He's over-pushed. They made over-pushing a thing. They made over-pushing a thing. They gave Romans everything, and now they have nothing left after this. He's beaten every single person. He's beaten Styles. He's beaten The Miz. He's beaten Finn Balor. He's beaten Seth Rollins. He's beaten Randy Orton. He's beaten Rusev. He's beaten Cena. He's beaten The Undertaker. And I'll get to The Undertaker. He's beaten everybody. He's beat Samoa Joe. He's beat Braun Strowman. Yeah, there's all these other people from NXT that weren't... But do you really expect him to get really proper respect on the main roster of all places? It's pretty shown that Vince doesn't like them. So I have no care for this match. It is nothing. It's just nothing. Fans are going to just hate Reigns because there's nothing to care about. There's nothing to care about. But people aren't going to cheer for Lesnar. They know he doesn't care. And the X-Man, I get the feeling he's going to look at this match in depression because he's seeing a guy he actually likes and it's going to be turned into complete crap because there's nothing left for him. He has nothing left to gain in the company. He is done after this. There are no titles to get after anymore. Yeah, he could probably try to gun for Ric Flair's reign, but that would have pissed fans more off more than when John Cena got it. There's nothing left. It's done. And then we get to what never should have happened. The build-up to John Cena versus The Undertaker. Never has there been a story where I have never felt such disdain, where I have never felt such anger, where I've never felt such contempt towards creative, towards Kevin Dunn, towards John Cena. No, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not saying John Cena as the character. I'm saying John Cena as a person. I'm going there. I'm seriously going there. I'm not attacking... I'm going to attack John Felix Anthony Cena because there is no way he should have accepted this idea. I'm attacking Vince McMahon on this. I'm attacking Kevin Dunn. I don't care. Undertaker has done everything for this company, for wrestling, for the fans. And he's been wrestling since 1984. He's been with WWE since the 1990s. John Cena goes out, slanders The Undertaker, pisses on his name, calls his gimmick stupid, calls his entrance stupid, calls everything he's done stupid, calls him an egomaniac, calls him all these horrible things that it doesn't look like they're taking a shot at The Undertaker, the character, they're taking a shot at Mark Calloway. And I was like, Taker had hip. Okay, there's the conflicting report. He's either gotten hip replacement surgery or is in need of hip replacement surgery. I don't know. He's taking pain relief injections. He's doing his damnedest to keep up with the demand that Vince has put on him. And I'm at this point where I want Taker to just say, fuck you all. I've done everything for this company. I put guys over. I put Roman Reigns over even. And you want more out of me? You seriously want more out of me? I am 53 years old. My hip is not at the level it used to be. My body is wear and tear. It's basically damaged at this point. But no, Vince wants to look at Taker and think he's just indestructible. That he can't be broken. He can be. He's not immortal. And Cena takes a shot and just tries to deconstruct Taker's character. Everything that Taker was, kayfabe, Taker kept his gimmick alive. He's the only guy left in the company in the wrestling that actually kept his character straight. He didn't do social media. Whenever they did do pictures of him, he tried to look completely different, like the whole white his true coloring, his age, his white hair. And he didn't look like The Undertaker. He looked like Mark Calloway, who just wants to stop. And then it just gets stupider and dumber and slanderous when Cena starts posting memes on his Instagram and then compares Undertaker to shit. To dog shit. Say, do something. And it disgusts me more that there are these brainless hyena fans saying, do something, and saying, we want Taker. But no, Cena doesn't respect him. Why? Because Cena didn't wrestle him like at WrestleMania and be the guy that broke the streak? Is that it? You want to know here's the shocker. You want to know the last time, you want to know the only time Cena and Taker ever wrestled in one-on-one match? Back when Taker was the biker. Back when he was Big Evil. Back when he was the American Badass. That was 2003. He has never wrestled The Undertaker in a singles match since then. They fought it in tag team matches, but never in a singles match after that. Cena apparently wants more out of him. The Triumvirate wants more out of him. I was pissed off, and I'm supposed to side with Cena. That's the biggest thing that makes me mad. I'm supposed to side with Cena. I'm supposed to like Cena. That's what they keep saying. That's what they keep telling people. I'm supposed to feel sorry that Cena's not going to be at WrestleMania. He's not going to wrestle. No! I don't feel sorry for him. I could give a rat's ass. You mean to tell me I should feel sorry and root for a guy who has screwed so many wrestlers over, who has had half of his title reigns be transitional belts, who has sucked up to Vince, who sucked up to Dunn, done everything Dunn and Vince want. Screw this guy, screw this guy, screw this guy, screw this guy, but put Roman Reigns over, but screw everyone else. And Corey Graves is basically screamed in his ear by Vince, try and get Cena sympathy. They tried to do this at WrestleMania 29. That failed. We didn't feel like there was a need for a redemption storyline for Cena. He doesn't need a redemption. He's John Cena. He was put in main event matches that did not have the WWE champion when Punk was in charge. The only thing you could say you feel sorry for him at that time was when his wife divorced him. But they turned it into a storyline and say that Cena blamed The Rock for that. I don't care. I don't care. I was on Twitter for God knows throughout all of Monday Night Raw for the last several weeks when Cena started doing all this slanderous, hypocritical bullshit. And I kept attacking on his Twitter account, telling him, fuck off. Go to WrestleMania. If you want to do something for WrestleMania, fuck off. That's all I wanted him to do. Just go. Just get out. Go back to Hollywood even. Go and prepare for your wedding. I will respect you more if you don't go to WrestleMania and just go to your future wife. Just be a husband. You have nothing left here. You don't get anything out of The Undertaker. You just further try to prove your righteousness, your sanctimonianism. And that disgusts me. This whole storyline disgusts me. And they're not turning Cena heel on this. Everything Cena's done is heelish. It's not even being a heel, it's just being an ass. I don't want to see Taker further under physical pain. Deluxeman uploaded this video complimenting all this last ride of Undertaker that really should have been the end after WrestleMania last year. They negated that awesome, beautiful moment of sadness. And Undertaker, there's the audio in the Deluxeman video where Undertaker says in a rare interview that the reason why he still wrestles is because, one, he's just having fun. One, he wants to give back. He said he's set already. He doesn't have anything left to prove, but he kept staying because he wanted to give back. And I think that's the problem Cena has with him. Because Undertaker isn't him. He's not Hulk Hogan. He's not John Cena. He's not an arrogant, self-centered, self-entitled little whiner who goes ahead and believes, well, I did charity work, so all of you need to like me. That disgusts me. That Cena thinks he can just do that. I was pissed. Beyond belief. If Cena had just simply said, I want to fight Taker, but if he doesn't answer or says no, I'll respect it. But no, that wasn't the case. They don't even acknowledge that what he was saying was horrible. They try and make it sound like he's in the right. And the whole let's take shots at Taker for not showing up every single day of the week. Okay. Cena has an excuse. The Rock has an excuse because they have Hollywood commitments. I said it. I'm even supporting Cena on that part. I put Cena on the same pedestal as The Rock with Hollywood commitments. Lesnar has no excuse. He doesn't care. If you were taking shots at Lesnar, I would be all for that. But that isn't it. You took shots at The Undertaker, who does have a legitimate reason to not show up. His age is catching up, his body is going through wear and tear, he may have just had a hip replacement surgery, and you just say all this slanderous stuff, and all I get is just anger. I get anger, I get frustrated, I get mad, and it makes me feel ashamed that I'm still watching the company. That's part of the reason why I started watching New Japan. That's part of the reason why I started watching Ring of Honor. All this BS that's been building up in me for the last several years, and I just said, F it, I'll just watch something else. And I can't break my contract with WWE mentality because this introduced me to wrestling. The company introduced me to wrestling. It wasn't WCW, it wasn't ECW, it was WWE. That was my first experience watching wrestling. I didn't know what ECW was. I didn't know what WCW was. I didn't learn about them until after they shut down. But I knew WWE. And like Deluxeman said, I'm either doing this out of habit or I'm just hoping things get better. That's the only reason. I have nothing here in this entire storyline was just an insult to every fan who ever looked up to The Undertaker. An insult to The Undertaker, the insult to Mark Calaway, and the whole concept that Cena saying that that Mark Calaway thought himself as a god, that's not what he thought. Mark Calaway cared. He cared about the younger guy. He was called the judge because he handled disputes. He handled backroom disputes when people didn't get along, and he would go ahead and give his ultimate opinion after listening to both sides. But Cena doesn't do that. Vince doesn't do that. It's always one side to him. Remember when Marvin was getting bullied by JBL? Vince chose JBL's side because, one, he has tenure, and two, you're not acting like Michael Cole in commentary. So, I'm siding with a bully, even though I have an anti-bullying belief, but you get lost. And I must stress, Marvin has depression issues and bipolar disorder, and yet Vince is alright with that. It sickens me that this company that got me into wrestling is now trying so desperate to push me away. And seeing Cena representing everything I hate about wrestling nowadays, since he stopped being and reinventing himself, he stopped being this, he stopped being something that we could get entertained by, and instead becoming this sappy, over-the-top, cartoony character for kids, even though there are kids who don't like those kind of things. They want a darker edge. I still recall, years back, 2015, a little kid walked up to his mother and asked, "Can I buy this video game?" It was Grand Theft Auto 5. This kid looked like he was 3, probably 5. And yet Vince is saying that's the audience we want. That think of the children thing. Cena isn't going to get his match. It's been said that Undertaker might not actually be competing this year at WrestleMania. But they're going to do something. I don't know what. They're probably going to do a stare down. Honestly, I just hope it amounts to nothing. I just want Taker to go home, be with his wife, be with his kids, just enjoy his life, whatever freedom from pain he has. I don't want to see him in a wheelchair. I don't want him to be horribly paralyzed because Vince and company think he's untouchable. He's unbreakable. And that's it. I probably could go on for 10 years on this, explaining why, forever on this, but I'm just exhausted on that. I've said my piece. Vince, Dunn, Cena, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, Kevin Dunn, John Anthony, whatever his middle name is. Please, for all of us, go fuck yourselves. This was my thoughts on the road to WrestleMania 34. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more.